Hey guys, welcome to Exploring Dark Web series. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about total anonymity. So, as you know, like we would have discussed this in the past few videos as well. So now I'm not going to touch the Tor part, but then if you have a web browsing capability in your operating system, and if you want to secure the web browsing capability and you don't want to reveal your identity and you want to stay anonymous when browsing on a normal browser, may it be a Google Chrome, may it be a Firefox, so I would recommend Firefox as a browser. So I already have Kali Linux installed on my lab machine, and I have Firefox web browser installed on the same. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure this particular web browsing activity using something called the proxy. So we are going to deploy something called proxy. To be very precise, we are going to do a proxy chain, a chain of proxies, so that your IP address is completely secured and it is not revealed while you're browsing, and nobody is able to backtrack you using your IP or the DNS address. So the major focus over here is going to be your IP address and DNS address. So now I have this I'm just checking my IP address and the DNS address. So all you can see now is that this is my IP address, right? India, Bangalore, and this is the DNS address, right? All you can see here is India, Bangalore. This is the DNS address which I'm using, and this is my IP address. So now what I'm going to do is, for a demonstration purpose, I'm just going to save this detail onto a small notepad or a sticky note. So the public IP address first. So this is my public IP. Just copy it and I just paste it over here. Okay, so it means like I'm not in an editable area, so I'll try again. Paste it. There you go. Right, so India, Karnataka, so this is the IP, and let me quickly pick a DNS address. I'm not going to pick all the DNS addresses which is displayed in the screen. So I'm just going to pick only one or two. So let's say this is all series of DNS address. I'm going to take the 79, 79, 77, 78. So I'm just going to take this one. 77. So I'm just going to copy this. Right. So I just copy, and once again I'm going to paste in the DNS section. And not just that, now I need the next DNS address as well, which is the sequence of same. Copy paste, and I'll make it 78, I suppose. 77, I suppose 78 or 88, I'm not sure. 77 and 78, yeah, these are two DNS addresses. So I got this DNS address, and we're gonna see this, everything is in here. So this is my local ISP and all this stuff. So hope you had a quick look at this, and this is the public IP and the DNS address which I've looked up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this and open the terminal. So now we are going to get on with the setting up the proxy chain, right? That is what we're going to do. So I just want my terminal here. So the first thing what you see here is a dollar symbol. That means I'm not the root user. When you're root user, you don't get the dollar symbol and you get an hash value there. So if I want to just say basically check anything. For an example, if config, this is to check the IP address, the local IP address. So there we go. So these are the commands which automatically runs even if you are a user or an admin, but there are certain commands which doesn't run this way, and in that scenario you need to elevate your privilege. So now I logged in as a user and I need to elevate the privilege to be an root or an administrator. Okay, so let's quickly start with our proxy chain configuration. So now I'm going to go procedure by procedure. There's only 7 steps which you need to follow. Okay, and if you're carefully following this, you will get these things configured on your Kali Linux in the first go itself without any problem. So just closely follow this. On the first step number 1, we need to edit the proxy chain configuration file. Alright, that is going to be the first step. So inside the file system, just how in Windows we have system32, here also we have the file system, and inside the file system we have to select etc, this is the folder. So I need to open the etc folder, and then I need to search for proxy chains. So when I type proxy chains here, this is a set of kind of a executable file, and this is a zip file. So this is not going to be a configuration file for sure, these two. So this is a conf file, which is a configuration file. This is exactly what we want to edit, right? So I can open this with any editor. So this is a very easy way to configure the proxy chain configuration file or alter the configuration file. But I'm going to take a little bit of a hard way. So let's go via this terminal. So first is I need to type, because it is inside system drive, I need to have access to it and I need to get root. So I just type sudo, then space nano. Nano is the editor which I'm going to use to edit the proxy file. And what is the location of the proxy file? /etc/proxy chains. Okay, and the file name is proxy-chains4.conf. right, hit enter. You need to enter the password because user, you are elevating a privilege, so I'm just elevating privilege with the password, and here we go. This is the proxy chain configuration file. The version is 4.x. HTTP SOX4 and SOX5 tunneling presets are being used over here. And in this file, I don't want to complicate with going line by line, so I'm just going to tell you what exactly you need to do within this config file. So first, we need to open the config file. The step number 2, inside the proxy chain configuration file, first thing we need to do is enable dynamic chain. Now you see is dynamic chain. This is the first option. It is not enabled because there is an hash symbol in front of this dynamic chain. Whenever there is an hash, it means it is a read file and it's not something which is going to execute or which is going to be active in the configuration set. So all you need to do is delete the hash from there. I think I just lost the config file. I'll just quickly go back to it. Alright, so here dynamic chain. Now you see it is in a different color. When I remove the dynamic chain hash, it means it has activated. So what is dynamic chain? So dynamic chain is something where if you have 10 proxies on 10 different nodes. For an example, when you type google.com, you go to Google, from there DNS address lookup happens, you request whatever data you want from the Google server. But here what we're going to do is, whenever I type something, I'm not directly going to the source or the destination address. I don't directly go to Google because I'm going to mask my identity. So that is our intent over here. So in dynamic chain, what happens is there will be chain of proxies, right? And if one proxy chain, any one server breaks down, then the proxy will get disconnected. If you enable static strict chain. Okay, so you need to disable this one. Strict chain means you will, once there is a break in the communication, the entire proxy will go down. But in dynamic chain, if there is a break, the proxy chain configuration file will go and find the next available proxy chain so that your connection is not blocked. So I enable dynamic chain. Now I just need to come down and disable the strict chain. So I shouldn't be using the strict chain. So there you go. I disable strict chain. So this is step number 2. Okay, let's go on to the step number 3. Okay, so after this you just need to go down all the way. So we will go down to the proxy. There is proxy and DNS here. This is the one. So all you see now here is proxy DNS request, no leak for DNS request. So this is very important in our communication. If I don't enable the proxy DNS, so if I spoof the IP address, or I change, or I virtually change the IP address, or mask the IP address, when I search a website, I go to the website, my IP is changed, but the DNS server will never be changed. So until unless I make the DNS also change when my IP changes. Okay, so if you don't do this, you will get caught, because your identity will be revealed based on your DNS address, not the IP address. So DNS will be the same old location from where you are originating, and you will expose your identity. So what you need to do is enable the proxy DNS request, no leak. So ensure there is no leak in the DNS, and then again just go down to the proxy list. So if you see the proxy list over here, there you go, down, timeout, and all the way when you scroll down, yeah, this is the proxy list. So the proxy list is now in green state, that means enabled. So you can add your proxy. So now in the top you would have seen, so we were using SOX 4 and SOX 5. These are the two protocols which eventually we use for the proxy chain, but here you have only SOX 4. So what you need to do is just add one more line which says use also SOX 5 and give it a space 120, I'm sorry, and then just type the same IP address 127, loopback address 0.0.1. Alright, and the port also remains the same, 9050. Alright, once this is done, this step is over. So the third sequence is over. Let's quickly save this file. So writing is, this is the write out. So you need to press Ctrl and O. So it says write to file etc proxy chain. So say yes, write the file. So it means it's saved now. Now to exit, the same, Ctrl X, Ctrl X. So I've saved it. I came out. Alright. So this ends the step number 3. Let's quickly check the step number 4. So this is all about checking if the proxy chain service or the Tor service is installed on the operating system. Alright, so let's quickly check. It's very easy to check. The command to check if the Tor relay network is installed on the Kali device. So to do that, just type service Tor status. So let me quickly clear this out, or just create a confusion. Service Tor status. When I hit enter, right, so what you see here is the Tor status is inactive, and it also says the Tor status is dead. It means it is installed, but the service is stopped and it is not functioning. Okay, that is what exactly this means. So now if this service is installed, the Tor service is installed, Okay, so what we're going to do next, right? So I'm just going to clear this out, and if in case in your if in case your the Linux, the Kali Linux doesn't have a Tor system installed, then you may have to manually install the Tor service on your Kali Linux. Now that I have already installed, so it shows it's installed, but if it is not installed, it's very simple to install the Tor service. The command for it is apt get apt-get install Tor. Alright. Okay, the file is locked because I don't have the privilege. So now I need to type sudo, enter. So it's reading the package. If it's already installed, I suppose it won't install. Close off, yeah, because it's already installed. So it installs, then again you can just check the service status. So the service is still active but is dead. That means we need to enable the Tor service. So now let's enable the Tor service. It's again very easy. So service Tor start. Okay, this is a command to start the Tor service. Let's wait for a minute or so. Right, so failed to start the Tor service, access denied. Again, I forgot to add sudo. I need to elevate my privilege. There you go. So it's okay. Now I hope it started. So initially when you go back in this, you would eventually see that the Tor service is dead, inactive, and it's dead. So now let's again check the same. So to check service Tor status, and now if you see active but it's exited, right? That's pretty much fine. So let me so it's active now, it's in green, that means the Tor service is active, right? Okay, so once the Tor service is activated, the last procedure is to initiate the browsing using the proxy chain or Tor relay. That exactly is what we're going to do now. So service is running, the proxy chain is configured, Tor service is running, we install the Tor again, and now let's start a secure proxy chain communication via Firefox. So for that, you just type proxy-chains 4 and give a space Firefox. So that's the browser I'm using. If you're using, you can just type Google, or if you're using any other browser, you can type the browser name, hit enter. So on the left side, you could eventually see there'll be a lot of communication going. On the right side, now you can see over here the browser is open. Yep. So while the browser loads, all you need to do is, hope you remember, this is our public IP address before the session started. We know the public IP and the public DNS address. We just need to search the same again now over here. So in the address bar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type the address, that's a link, browserleaks.com/DNS. So on the left you see there's a proxy chain communication going on, and there are different chains which comes in, goes in, in the background. So now that if you see, this is the IP address, Church of Theology, Netherlands, Amsterdam. Alright, so my IP address now is in the Amsterdam, and now you see the DNS address. DNS address here. We used to have a different DNS address. Quick check. This was the IP address, the public IP which we had, and that IP has completely changed, and the DNS address also has completely changed to Germany, Frankfurt, and we don't have this DNS address over here. Alright, this is how we enable a secure communication. So now however you browse, you actually land up in Germany or Amsterdam or Netherlands, wherever your proxy chain takes you. That's where your browser also will work. So let me quickly have a check over here. Google.com, hit enter. So because you're bouncing your connection via different proxies, different nodes, it will be a bit slow compared to the regular browsing, but it's more secured even though it is slow. So now you see it's like dead slow and it's asking me for, so this is a different IP address. Now I need to validate myself because I'm using proxy chain in a different location. So the browser is asking me to confirm that I'm not a robot. So this brings up the validation processes, right? So that's how you do safe and secure browsing with a proxy chain. And before I just quickly go off, I also want to show you guys something very important about the DNS. So what happens if I haven't done the DNS part properly? Okay, let me try and see if I can show you guys quickly, because it's a bit of a tedious process. Okay, let me quickly go to the DNS part. Proxy DNS request leak. So what happens if I forget to enable this DNS? Okay, that's the question now. And I'm going to paste this, and I'm going to save this. Control O, hit enter, Control X, save and exit. So I've disabled the DNS part now. Let's quickly hit the proxy chains. Alright, and I'm going to keep the web browser with the link. So I've entered the browser link.com DNS leak test. So we are going to go back to the same over here. It works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes. It all depends on the browser, how it's going to cache your previous history and how it's going to store. So it didn't eventually, but if I haven't done that particular part, so the DNS would eventually go back to where I belong in the first time, wherever it should. So now that the browser is not completely closed, I didn't flush the browser out, so it's still continuing from the old series. But this is what happens when I don't enable DNS. I'll eventually leak my actual DNS address here, though my public IP address is changed. So this is one way to securely access internet on your regular browser with the proxy chain. So you don't need costly VPNs and costly proxy subscriptions, and if you want, you can still do the same with them. But then this is one open source way. You can use the Tor network to browse your surface web. Also, you can browse the deep web as well as dark web. Right? I hope this was a bit educating on how you access your surface web in a secure way. But I also hope that you guys had understood the basic principle and the concept what I wanted to impart today. And if you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to me on the Discord server. So the Discord server link is already provided in the channel's description and also the channel's homepage. So you can just check and you can install the Discord and chat with me and ask your doubts on the Discord. So I maximum avoid the comment section, but then hope this session was educative. And if you have anything, let's connect on the Discord. Thank you once again for being part of this Rogue Vault session, and especially the dark web series. So I hope you had a good session and you guys have a great time and also keep learning. Bye bye.